Very exciting.
Greetings, salutations from space and aloha from Earth, friends. Gemini Brett here, and I'm so excited to spend some time with the Oracle, with Colette Baron-Reid, who's joining us from Canada.
Yep.
And is going to speak about the art of manifesting. Colette, how in the heavens are you?
Oh my God, I am so great. I'm so grateful to do this with you. And listen, if you haven't booked a session yet with Gemini Brett, okay. And I mean, I'm sure we're on your channel, so everybody knows you, but whoa, I love this man beyond, and he's helped me so much, and I swear by him. So that's what I got to say about him. And yeah, and I also know that you've been running a manifesting workshop too. So this is actually a perfect kind of conclusion in a way, right? You know, talking about the energies of what impacts us when we are looking to co-create with a conscious universe, right? So, yeah. So, this is my book. This is why he's doing this for me.
Your newest book.
My new book, The Art of Manifesting. I'm very excited about it. And this is some of my art too, but this is really, really, this is the culmination of all my work, and I'm so proud of it. And I'm so excited to talk about it because it works. It really works. And there's science behind it. It's not just woo-woo, and it's not just anecdotal, although I have tons of stories to share, but we actually have the neuroscience to back up the claims now, because science and spirit have finally kind of, you know, they're adjacent now. They're at the, and I kind of always laugh and say I live at the corner of Fringe in Maine, but now you know, but now we've actually found some of these correlations that can actually explain some of the stuff that, you know, that were kind of inexplicable before.
For me, it's really helpful when we have folks like the Greg Bradens and others who can show us of the science behind the spirit, right? I had this dream once, Colette, you'll love this, where I was driving and I looked to the side of the road and there was like a strip mall and there was a shop with a yellow awning, which I had seen a lot, that said psychic on it. But next door to it, there was a similar awning that said skeptic. And I was like, oh, I shop at both of those places, right? And yeah, for me, it can be really helpful to have that neuroscience backing or whatever. I don't think it's necessary for a lot of folks. But before we get into the new book, let's talk about Colette Baron-Reid, the author. And before we even go there, let's just speak about Colette Baron-Reid. So for folks here on my channel who might not have found you yet, can you share a little bit about who you are and how you got this way?
Yes, how I got this way. So I am an author with Hay House. I'm the author of 19 Oracle card decks and 8 books. And so I've been with Hay House since 2020. I've worked in the intuitive arts for 36 years. But what's been an interesting, actually 38 years now, 38 year, wow. Anyhow, so I got sober 40 years ago. And my ability that I knew that I had when I was young, which when I was young was very troublesome, the capacity to know things outside of knowledge, right? So, you know, understanding things. I apologize for my glasses, by the way, but I have dry eyes and I have a film on there. So it's my computer's making little things in my glasses. But anyway, so.
You're just helping us see the light.
I'm just see the light. Yeah. So I grew up unable to understand how I couldn't tell where I ended and other people began, right? So for me, it was very innocent that I would just know things, but then quickly I recognized that what I knew about other people, I wasn't supposed to know, or how did I know that? And so there was a big disconnect between my experience and what was okay or allowed, right? And it's an interesting thing because both my parents were incredibly intuitive. My mother was very, very intuitive, and she loved going to psychics, which was really interesting. And my dad, well, I found out when he died that he had this gift incredibly. And my mother had actually told him he was not allowed to do, because he would go into a trance and read people's Turkish coffee cups at cocktail parties. But one day he told all these people who was having an affair with who, and it was a big scandal. So my mother said she would divorce him if, if he was going to, keep doing that. But he taught me how to read Turkish coffee cups when I was 14. So there's kind of these mixed messages, right? Like my nanny was a psychic, Mrs. Kelly, but I don't think my parents knew that she would have her friends over to do card readings at the table when they left for her to look after us, right? So there's like all these like weird things. Anyhow, I digress. I had a lot of experiences, my teens, my 20s. I became a drug addict and an alcoholic. I had, anything to escape myself because I could not be in my skin. I couldn't be in there. I got clean and sober 40 years ago, coming up January 2nd. And when I got clean and sober, I also, the gift started making sense after a couple years. I just couldn't make it go away. It just wanted to be known. But I needed to have a spiritual life that was really strong and very specific. And so I went to recovery programs. So I spent a lot of time in church basements, but also I went to Unity Church. So these two things are important to understand the background of what I'm going to be talking about, because at Unity, I loved going there. They played guitar, they sang, they did meditations. It was Christian, but non-denominational. I meditated to the Tibetans at the temple, but I came here and they taught about manifesting. So that's really how so my whole career, beginning with doing readings for other people, the intuitive readings where I was doing predictive readings because I could see what was coming. Then I segued into, wait a sec, what if you could make a different choice? Because I recognized what I learned at Unity and the New Thought movement and all the content, about how we actually have the power to co-create reality with a conscious universe, where that actually fit in with looking into people's futures. So it really hit me early on, and thank goodness, because I recognize that the future is mutable, even with astrology, which is why I love Gemini. And also, wow, he's just so lyrical and amazing when you get a chance to sit with him and he sees, all the stars in the sky and all the influences. It's a fixed system, but it's always evolving too. The planets are always moving as you evolve, and you have opportunities and invitations to become someone new or anew as you evolve as a human being, on this journey we call life, right? Would you say that's true?
Yeah, absolutely. And I love the way that you share it. And I'm intrigued to ask a couple questions about that.
Great.
But yeah, in astrology, it's like, okay, this thing's coming, but how is it going to manifest? And so much of that depends upon who it's happening for. And
Right.
just as it is when we read a great book 10 years after we read it the first time, it's a
Yeah.
totally different book because it's a different reader, right? Like that happens in astrology. And it's cool to hear that you see that as well, that like a future you might see is the future on the time stream as it is
Yeah.
now, right? But if we make a change in us, perhaps we're changing the route and moving towards a different future, quote unquote, right?
And even looking retro, my biggest thing was retrocognition. I could see someone's past very clearly, but also how the past could shift. For example, when we went to Portugal and you had told me about the Pluto transit that was there, which is why you kept saying, Spain might be better for you. I like the Sagittarius, the Jupiter thing better. Anyhow, but I insisted. But it took quite a while for it to really continue to unearth what was important for me to unearth. Like, for example, how I wasn't 100%. I was getting very sloppy on my spiritual practice, and I was putting other things that as my higher power, like my ambition, or I was overworked and I wasn't taking better care of myself. Things like that. All the shadow content came up, and I was able to look back. And as a result of it, I see my experience very differently, right? So the person I am today looks back and go, wow, was that ever a good experience? But when I was having it, it wasn't, right? You know what I mean? So, oh shit. Sorry about this.
Rock on.
Sorry.
Yeah. And
right? Okay.
maybe we talk astro maps another time, but I want to share, I think we heard it from you already, but the reason why I created this thumbnail and called it Draw a New Year, You.
Yes.
I mean, one of the reasons there is to say, off of words of the truth that many of us know you from these amazing oracle decks that you've created. I have my one on my phone I check in with regularly, and it's like really powerful stuff. And your writing is so like moving, inspirational.
No, there's no chat GPT in there either.
Yeah,
so
well,
drawing. Sorry, go ahead.
So draw anew you, right? There's this new technique that you have found your way to. I mean, it sounds like it's also something you've been doing because you're an active artist and have been for so long. But that there's this new technique of manifesting through an actual method of drawing, right? So I can't wait to hear more about it.
And I'd love to, show people how to do it too, because it's quite simple. So the art of manifesting is a process. It's a drawing process, a very simple drawing process. And if you know how to doodle, you know how to do this. And you may have been doing this before and not even knowing you're doing it. But what I learned, so I'll just backtrack a bit, that during the pandemic, I turned back to art. I was an artist in the 80s. I painted on people's clothes for a living for a while, a couple of years, and made quite a decent living at it. And then just decided I didn't want to do that anymore. And didn't pick up a paintbrush for like over 30 years. So during the pandemic, I started painting again, and it completely calmed down my anxiety. So there were benefits that I noticed right away. And so painting equaled releasing. Painting enabled me to be present, 100% present. And I didn't have any stress of ambition to go anywhere. I was in a process. So I knew that it made me feel better. Shortly after that, I broke my foot. And because I couldn't stand in front of a canvas anymore, I went down the rabbit hole online and started looking at all these different line art techniques. I'll just show you a picture of some of what we do. So, and what can be done. Anyhow, if you can see that, I don't even know if you can see that in a little Instagram thing. But anyhow, so I found myself really attracted to a particular line art. There was a group of them. One of them was called Zentangle. Another one was Zen Doodle. Another one was Neurodoodle. And then there was Neurographica, which is a very strict psychology-based Russian technique that I found way too many rules, right? Which was fine. It's phenomenal, by the way. It's phenomenal. And Zentangle's meditation. There's all these different forms of intentional art. Then I'm like, why is there intentional with the art equals what? So I discovered also this new, well, it's not really new, it's actually old, but the relationship between neuroscience and art. And there's this whole thing now called the NeuroArts Blueprint, which is an initiative of teachers and healers and artists and professors from all over the world that come together to talk about how neuroplasticity and how to change your brain and change yourself through simple art techniques, either dance, music, sound, or drawing, art. And so when you draw with intention, I'll get to the point, when you draw with intention, you receive a benefit from it, right? So if the intention is I'm going to draw with gratitude, right? We know that we feel better because that will, if you immerse yourself in that feeling state, which we're going to do today, you release a certain amount of endorphins, you get, gosh, this is my 67-year-old brain just went wink, but serotonin and like oxytocin, and you've got dopamine, and you can create that in a way that's really healthy as opposed to the kind of dopamine hit that you get in the addictive way when you go online, right? Because that gets taken away, you have to do it again. This is not addictive type. This is actually really flooding it in a really positive way that can be sustained. So I thought that was really interesting that you could actually change your brain. But the most interesting piece for me was when I consider that I feel differently, then I would come from a different place when it comes to manifesting, because I'm always talking about this in all of my work for the past 36 years, which is the core question is, who do we want to become? That's why the Oracle cards work. They work on what do I need to know today to be in the highest good, right? When we manifest, we don't manifest what we want. We manifest what we are, because we're constantly broadcasting. And that was when I got really deep into the neuroscience piece, because I'm a total nerd and I went down a rabbit hole. And I learned all this really cool, interesting stuff where I was looking at, okay, well, if this is true, then would it not be true that I would be broadcasting something else and then see something else? Because what we see in the outer world is filtered through a part of our brain called the reticular activating system of the brain. In layman's terms, it acts as a bouncer. So it tells us what to look at. So and everybody actually knows this, coincidences, synchronicities, etc., come when we are rehearsing a state of being. And then we start seeing more of it in the outer world, because our part of us is engaging with that quantum field, or that field of potential, or the conscious universe, right? Because we're starting to look for the clues that are there. So the brain lights up, that basically that bouncer has got a brand new guest list, and it only shows you the invitations, right, of the people that you want in this party, which would be gratitude, wealth, opportunity, like all the things that typically people put down when they want to manifest something. What is it that you want to manifest? But it's not what you want to manifest. It's the feeling state that you think that thing's going to give you. So what I learned was, also just by doing this work for 36 solid years and teaching vision board challenges every year, etc., is that it's not what you put on it, it's how that's supposed to make you feel. And the universe often will give us something different or something better, right? And I'm sure you've experienced that yourself.
Absolutely. And I'm intrigued by something you said, which is it's not you manifest what you want, it's you manifest what you are, or something to that extent. So could you say more about that?
Yes.
And if I'm trying to, I guess, improve upon what I feel I am now, and this whole idea of like drawing a new you,
Right.
is it about like tuning to that energy state of something I know I can be, or what I want to bring in my life?
Yeah, it's more like what we are is energy. And energy is created, or it is gathered together, if you will, or galvanized. Our energy is information, right? And it comes through repetition. So whatever we keep thinking about, right? Whatever we keep feeling, if we're indoctrinated a certain way or conditioned to see the world a certain way, we're going to see more of it that way. Right. It's just that's a fact, right? It's going to be very difficult for us to become anything different, because we are rehearsing that old self all the time, right? Whether it be with conversations we have about ourselves or what's possible for us, or we look to the outer world to decide whether something is possible. But what if, right? And I've proven that it's true. And I'm not the first one that has, but if you can imagine that you rehearse a state of being, say, well, who do I want to become? If I want to have an experience that's different than where I am now, I have to become somebody new in order to have that. So I need to rehearse this in advance, because because that's all there in the invisible world. I just can't see it yet. So I may think it's a particular form, but the universe is going to pick the right match for you. Part of the form that you're calling in might be accurate, but maybe the context might be a little different. So the universe is always sending us these synchronistic clues, and then our next right action is to follow those clues along, while we still maintain this connection that this is not only possible for me, but this is true, because I am feeling this as if it had already happened in advance. Now, is this making sense?
It does, but yeah, I mean, I think the biggest question is, who are we? And what is this place? And what are we doing? But I think a question to get there is, does the universe want that from us? Like, does the universe want us to be in this happier state, or in a place where we've manifested things that help us feel joy and ease in life?
Well, the universe wants anything that we give it. I think that's the thing. Like, we keep thinking the universe is Santa Claus or Uber Eats, right? Like we're going to say, I want that, come give it to me. Or it is a neutral force that if you rehearse, and if there's a group of people rehearsing something over and over again, you're going to see more of that. You'll see that between countries that hate each other. You'll see that with indoctrinated groups of people, right? Where things actually happen. People say, well, how are they getting all that when, it's evil or whatever you would say, but it's because they're organized and they're all fixated on the same thing. So the energy is big and the universe goes, here, sure, boof, right? And terrible things can happen that way. So the universe wants what we want, because so if we are rehearsing a state of being on a daily basis every day as a discipline, right? If we discipline ourselves to do that, then the universe is going to take a clue from that and go, oh, they want to be grateful. And I'll tell you this, if anybody watching this starts with this one exercise, you will be blown away within days of what will match you. And so without going through the entire book, when I talked about we get what we are, we get a reflection of our thoughts, feelings, beliefs, actions, behaviors, etc. We are the sum total of all of those things, the energies that make us us, plus that which we may not be aware of, right? Do you understand, right? You would say that if you looked at somebody's chart, that gives a kind of an idea of who this person is. You know what I mean? Like, well, these are this and this is that. This is higher. Like you say, everybody has the same zodiac sign in the chart, but only certain planets are active in certain places, right? So everybody has this, right? Like, where's Aquarius in my chart? Well, I don't have an Aquarius in my chart, but it's in my 5th house. Like, do you know what I mean? So we have to know that we are what we are. We are what we at our core, we are absolute pure power and energy to choose. What we have become, because that's where we start. But who we have become is a sum total of our conditioning, cultural, social, experiences, experiential, all these things. And yet we are still evolving to the degree that we are willing to step out of our comfort zone and draw the new you, right? Well, who is this new you? Oh, well, if I'm new, then that means I can't keep rehearsing fear or self-doubt or low self-worth. I have to rehearse something else. So
it's so hard to break out for many of us because the conditioning, it's loud, but it's also silent, right? And, as you were sharing before, it's like one of the challenges I have with astrology is it can seem to want to create difficulty, right? I mean, so we've just had Mercury retrograde. That was this, when you reference that I've been doing this manifestation group, right? Like we were working on what I call don't get played by Mercury retrograde, play along, right? So like,
I love Mercury
retrograde. Instead of just like, oh, this is some bad thing and it's going to do this and your communication is going to break down, these things that we hear, and so when it becomes like the language of the cultural zeitgeist, if you will, it can be hard to like snap out of that, especially like I'll go to a conference, for example, where everyone's making their Mercury retrograde jokes and I might be doing it in a very different way, but suddenly I've stepped into this field of kind of like a religion, you know what I mean?
Right.
And so of course, when we assemble like in groups and we share a common intention, or we just take it like align with an opportunity individually, but together, right? That offers so much power for breakthrough. And I think getting away from some of the, I don't know, contaminations of our cultural naysaying is such an important thing to do. And so techniques like this can really help us release ourselves from some of the limitations that we're not even aware of.
And we don't need to focus on those limitations. Those limitations get to exist, right? It's like, I'm not going to try to fight against something. I accept that they're real. I accept troubles are real. I accept that my life's not going to be perfect. I accept that life on life's terms is going to throw me some curveballs. But at the same time, I can rehearse this other thing. I can strengthen a muscle and I can start to see changes without actually actively. So I'm a total Mercury retrograde heretic, by the way. I think Mercury retrograde is fantastic. I love it because I tend to run my workshops in Mercury retrogrades. It's because we can slow down, revisit, reclaim, you know, we renew our views on things, go over things again, see where there's, you know, shadow content that comes up or whatever. Like Mercury retrograde to me is very useful, very, very useful. So I'm not the kind, oh, whoa, oh boy, it's Mercury. I mean, I make some little jokes about that too, because my things do kind of go off, but who cares? It's like, this is a great experience for us to test our resilience, test our, you know, like it's really good. Anyway, so back into the idea of moving outside of those cultural conditioning that can actually be very baked in us and silent, like you said, because we're silently giving away our power to algorithms right now, just by the fact that we're too tired and exhausted to like pick for ourselves what we want to look at. The algorithms show it to us, and I guess I want to see that, right? We're not really that active unless we're super aware of that. Most of us are on our computers or our phones or whatever for a lot of the time, and we're being served up a particular reality that it thinks it wants, right? So our brain, it works the same way, right? So when you think about the way we manifest, the reticular activating system of our brain is like that algorithm. It's going to serve up what you told it, right? So when you've rehearsed something, a state of being, so you got to acknowledge, oh, wow, that's not my fault. That's just the way I'm built as a human being. So I could use this to my advantage. I can not worry about like, I know the conditioning is there, so I'm going to have to override it somehow without doing anything towards it, because then I give it more attention. So when you rehearse one particular feeling state, which to me changed my life and why the wildest things started happening as a result of it, which was the foundation of this book. So when you rehearse a state of gratitude and awe together, and you rehearse that and say thank you at the same time as just drawing simple circles, something happens that is so wild and miraculous that you won't know what hit you. So I'll tell you how to get to that feeling, because sometimes people go, I don't know what to be grateful for. I don't know what awe is. But every one of us here has a sense memory of having that. So I'll suggest to you now, with you might say it's something else, but when a child is born, when a woman has a child, or when you as a dad, right, you looking at this baby for the first time and you lock eyes with those eyes, were you not in complete gratitude and awe and like, holy crap?
Yes, and
Right. And you
it
were
might
scared.
not have been in the moment of the birth,
But at
because
some point,
Anna's labor, which was, you know, just miraculous and so powerful to behold. I mean, it was just everything mind-blowing, etc. But like the last 5 minutes got crazy hectic and traumatic.
all right.
And
So maybe
so
that's
I
not the right.
you
So,
so,
but
so
later
I'm just
on,
saying in my case, like it took a while. Like there was so much gratitude that things didn't go bad and everybody was okay. But it was
right.
more of that kind of survival gratitude than the, oh my gosh, the greatest gift in the, like that's what I see when I see Maya now, right? When I share a laugh.
That's what you want. That's what
Yeah.
you want to focus on, is how that feels, obviously, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, you have a story, so I'm trying to help you find the which piece. For me,
Absolutely. And for some people, like favorite puppy, right?
it
Or
was
what
my
you were
dog,
just going to say, what is it for you?
my dog, right? So when I first when I've rescued dogs, there's been a few of them, excuse me, after the hiccups, that have been my soulmates. And this one in particular, when I found her, another dog who I was so connected to died of a brain illness, and it was so devastating. And then 3 months later, this little one came in. I looked into her eyes, and I locked on, and it was nature, God speaking to me. There's this little creature that was coming into my life that I knew I would be responsible for, and she would change my life, and she did. So I have those moments in nature with animals. So my other friend had it when she left home for the first time, and she said she had that feeling when she had her first place, like, oh my God, I am free. So it's a freedom, gratitude, awe. People think the Grand Canyon, I'm so afraid of heights, I want to run away, run away and call an ambulance. so, so right, like for other people, oh no, it's the most majestic thing I've ever seen, and I'm like, run away, right? So it's very personal. So if you can kind of lock on and remember the feeling and just kind of sit with that for a second, and I'm going to ask you to do that right now with me.
And
Right?
can I just add a piece, Colette, that if awe seems like this overwhelming word, try wonder. I mean, students often hear from me that, I'll go outside so often with astrologers, and like I'm well known for helping astrologers reconnect to the sky. Right? I remember the first time we spoke, I was like, I'm outside watching the planets, and you're
I'm
like,
it's 3 in the morning.
And I'm like, no, I'm actually really doing that. And you're like, oh, right. And then we talk. But yeah, I so often see people, instead of kind of opening to the mysteries of the sky, they just slam the door shut because there's so much like shame around, oh, I'm this astrologer and I should know which one of those is Mars and which is Aldebaran and I don't. And, it's like, no, the password to the mysteries is wonder. And awe, just like the first time we saw the Milky Way, and what is that, right?
Whoa.
And so that kind of that feeling of just like, it's such an innocent feeling, right? I don't know and I don't have to know, and it's just wonderful. So whatever it is that like gets you into that lift space, right? That's the thing, and it's going to be unique for all of us.
Yeah, but you nailed it. It's the wonder. I'm actually going to change my language a bit on that because it is so true. And yes, I want ease, peace, and joy. You're right, I do. I also know that's not going to remove all the things in my life that cause me issues, but I would like to be more in the ease, peace, and joy so that I can have more strength to deal with these other things. And I believe that I can call something into being. I 1000% believe, because I 1000% believe I know the universe is listening. And it's got
and you have experience, right? Colette, before you bring us into this practice, can I ask a couple questions? Because a thing came up in the chat that I think is a really important statement, which was that challenge promotes the greatest growth. For me, this unanswerable question of who are we and why are we here, I think is best answered by we're here to grow. We're here in a place with the appearance of time and space, because that's the only way where we can make moves, where we can change. And as we change, the all that is changes. And that, for me, like that's the game of this place. I don't mean to say game to like belittle it.
No, it is. No, but it is. It's like a game. I think we should look at it like that. We should enter it with curiosity. And I love that person that said that, because I think one of the issues that I've always had with the manifestation conversation has been like, oh, let's have Uber Eats happy, joyous, and free all the time, which like, that's not what's true. Like I am challenged, I am challenged often in my life, and I wouldn't have changed those things for the world. Like I am who I am as a result of both of that. And I also want to be playful and manifest things. And while I'm, I want the full catastrophe, I don't want to be asleep at the wheel when it is possible for me. But when we are looking to become someone new, we have to let go of things. We might resist that. We might have a challenge right then and there. Like, wait a sec, I'm not ready. I think I want this, but whoa, am I this person yet? No. What if you have to grow? Well, growing is going to be that you have to push against hard earth to come out the other side. And that's so true. So that's never talked about.
And we have to have some reverence, and sometimes pace is really important, because I can be so self-identified with my traumas, and that's not like necessarily a bad thing. Like if I'm not this part of my abuse story, then what am I? And so as we start distancing ourselves from the old me to create the new me, we also have to like take some time to, in a way, at least energetically, have gratitude for what we've been, that got us to this moment now, is bringing us to what we will be, and even have some grief for I'm not going to be this thing anymore. And I just to also reference this idea that challenge is the greatest opportunity for growth. Yes, and right, like if we're here to grow, we, I think, can fall prey to the idea that it only happens through pain, that the no pain, no gain, right? I think what is true is we grow through what we go through. But we do also have, and I don't want to go full like new age, new cage here, but we do certainly have the opportunity to grow through bliss. It's
Yeah.
really hard in the times of ease and joy and beauty and abundance to stay engaged and to ask, why me? Right? Just when things are like the sky is falling and it's so tricky, it's like, why me? And we ask that such an important, like driving question that helps us ask the unanswerable and grow and tune into wonder and mystery. But when things are easy, most of us just feel like that's this karmic reward for the stuff we went through to get there. We stop asking, why me? You know, I think that's just an important way to stay engaged.
I think you made a point about something that was really important, and I'm not sure you made this point, but so I think now in our world of self-discovery and personal growth, etc., and for a period of time, I think people have worn their trauma like a badge. Like look at all the challenges I've had, and I identify with this. Well, I mean, if I identified with the kind of trauma that I've been through, which includes sexual abuse, gang rape, drug addiction, all of these things, I wouldn't be here. Like those are things that I went through, right? And I had to redefine myself with dignity and self-respect. And I had to look at the gifts and service that I could give to the world. And it didn't happen overnight, but I don't identify with my traumas. Those are things that are part of who I am. And I find that, and maybe it's because I'm older too, but when you've been in this world a little bit longer, you start to realize that our identity is, we weave stories around our identity, and it can be very challenging to somehow unearth those. And there is deep grief around that too, because we're like, well, who would we be without this story? When it gives me credibility and it gives me some gravitas, like that's become, oh yeah, me too. I had this, and I was, when I first got sober, that was how I identified myself. But eventually, and here I am almost 40 years sober and working a spiritual life and really making mistakes and having life on life's terms. But I want to experience the magic that my identity prevents me from accessing if I continue to identify myself somehow as either a victim or limited by my life experience, personality, expectations, etc. What if I could be curious, walk into the unknown and go, okay, what you got? What you got for me? Why not?
Yeah, I love that, the importance of curiosity. Okay, so one other tangent before we open to this practice together, which is this. I think sometimes we can really fall prey to this like need to know the hidden story.
Yes.
Right? Sometimes we're not sure why I'm addicted to sugar, or like, what am I burying in all these things that I do? And I mean, I'm Gemini moon, Scorpio sun, like I appreciate the detective game and I really want to dig deep and kind of uncover and know. But sometimes that need to know can get in the way of us just becoming what we want to be. Yeah, I was wondering if maybe you could just reflect on that.
Yes.
Before we dive
now
in.
You guys need to understand, this is how we talk when we're on the phone. Okay. This is us having a conversation. We've just invited you for coffee, right? Because this is true, right? It's like, and I love that you brought that up, man. You're so just you, like knowing, because that's the other piece about knowing in advance. Like we want certainty because the world is so uncertain. We're going to do anything for certainty. And that's another thing I tell people, when you come to my classes and you recognize I'm going to be teaching you something very different than what you expect, it's like people come in a way without admitting it to themselves until they really look. You're looking for control, right? Over what's coming, over what's there, because it's going to make you feel certain in some way and safe, certain, whatever those feelings are, or having power over, or having power or whatever. And that isn't it. because nobody's been able to 100% tell us exactly what the quantum field is, who God is, what that is, what is the spiritual part of us exactly. None of us know, and I'm not going to be the one to come up with it. So the need now is to step into what is unknown, uncertain, and like be willing to be curious to discover. So part of the not knowing is essential to the process that I teach, right? Is to really surrender the need to know, because we get very hung up on form. I'll give you an example of something funny that happened. So I believe that, and I've seen it and proven it, and everything moves around with the drawings, right? Where you do the drawing, you hold space for the thing that you say you want. And for me, it's in service to the world. It's always in service to. That's for me, because it's what I do. So I'm like, okay, in service to. Now, a lot of my friends have had New York Times bestsellers. This is a really funny story. And so I'm like, I never wanted to admit that I wanted one. I'm going to admit it now. Woo, embarrassed. Right. So I'm like, because if I don't get one, well, then, I'm a big fat loser. But that's not true. I really don't believe that. But I kind of do sometimes look like, how did they get that bestseller? I don't get it. Right. I'm like, why not me? Well, I've never actually had a product or a book that I thought was in that, and I never cared about it. But this is the first time I've actually created something, worked on something, have a great partner, and where I really think this could become something. Right. So I said, why not me? Yes. So I'm in the hot tub and I'm thinking, New York Times, I'm going to do a drawing. So I go in, I tell the head of my brand, guess what I decided? I think I'm going to hold space and put it on my drawing. I'm going to draw the New York Times. And why not me? And we just had a laugh. Yeah, why not? It was a beautiful drawing. I'm like, I wrote that in there right there. Let me show you. So it was New York Times. I showed it to her and left it. Ha, ha, ha. 2 hours later, I get an email that the New York Times is inviting me to come and teach this book to their Healthy Times program. Not 2 hours later. So the guy had my book on his desk, had contacted within the time frame, contacted my publicist, said, hey, this book you sent me, really intriguing. I'd love to talk to her. So I flew to New York. I met with him. So I'm doing it in February. I can invite whoever I want. So hopefully I can invite all of your people to come. But I didn't get a New York Times bestseller. And it was so freaking fast, I almost fell off my chair anyway. But it was bizarre how the universe went, okay, New York Times, here it is in the form that's right for you.
I love that. And, we circle back to a thing that you had said before, right? Like, you might set the intention here and the universe might bring it, but in a different flavor than you were expecting. And that also reminds us of another thing of don't get attached to the expectations of how it will manifest, or you might miss the truth that is happening right now, right? So it's not, I think a lot of times we give up on dreaming because we were so attached to what we believe the outcome of the dream should be that we didn't see the way that it actually arrived. And so it's don't release dream, release attachment to the dream, and allow yourself, this is wonder again, to be surprised.
We have something, I'm teaching this January 6th. We have our vision board challenge, a new vision board challenge. I started teaching this a couple of years ago, where I questioned, we always put these collages, because it's always been an art form, vision boards. I put these collages together with pictures of things that we say we want, these goals or these intentions that we say. We set intentions for the year ahead, but we don't leave any space on there for the unknown. So I started playing around with, what if we have a zone of synchronicity? Because nothing has ever shown up for me because I asked for it. It always came when I had let it go, forgot all about it, and it came in a form that was very surprising, right? And I couldn't have made that up. And I'm like, why don't we put that on the board? Like, I never did. It was like, this or something better now manifests for me in divine appropriate timing is typically that new age way of saying it. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm saying this, or give me the thing that's better than this. But what if I say this or what you think? And you can say also no, right? You could say no to this. Just show me what is mine. I'm putting this out there because I want to feel a certain way. So you match me with that feeling state. That's what I want. And help me serve through it. Like, where's the divine will in this? Because we're still very willful. If I say, this, I'm going to manifest this. I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to put the order into Uber Eats, and the universal Uber Eats is going to show up my door and hand it to me like knock, knock, there it is. But it's rarely the exact way. And when you do get it, that's why they say be careful what you pray for. Sometimes you will get the form. Like I got the record deal that I kept focusing on for 20 years. Once I let it go, it came when I didn't want it anymore. And B, the music business would have ate me up and spit me out for lunch. I did record 2 albums. I have that now, but I had to walk away from the big dream I had because it was so unhealthy for me. The thing that I did my vision board on every year for 20 years. And the one thing that I didn't, which gave me everything that I wanted that to give me, was this career. All the things, all the agendas that I had wrapped up in this one, the form of that came to me simultaneously. It was like a parallel life with this career here. I got absolutely everything I ever wanted here, but I didn't recognize it at all. I kept telling people, I don't really do this. I'm really a singer. Like, don't come back. I won't be here. I'll be like, no. It was pretty wild when you think about it, because if you're asking to serve and you're saying, this is the feeling state that I want. So I want to become the person that can feel like this on a regular basis, or feel like this more, or have this experience. The universe will go, yeah, I know what that's going to match in you. If I ask for your will be done through me, use me, right? The use me prayer. I'm like, P.S. I want that. But it goes, yeah, but P.S. I want you to do this. Everything you ever want. You go ahead.
2 other like questions that are so big. I want to ask them after because I want you to bring us into this experience. And yeah, so I shouldn't even have said that part out. I'm going to put mute
now
on
we all
myself.
want to know what they are. I can't see the chat. So, okay. So here's the process. So first of all, understand that you are doodling, right? I'm going to actually show you in a very simple way. Our process is a 7-step process. But what I'm going to do first, I'm going to show you on a smaller scale. Let me get a smaller scale. Booklet. Okay, here we go. All right. So we are going to do something that's the AM method is a method that myself and my partner, who's also an artist and a teacher, we're both Reiki masters. So what the first thing that we did was we said, okay, we need the piece of paper to represent more than a piece of paper. So if you guys have a piece of paper at home right now, or a pen or a pencil, that's all you need. So what we want to do is we want to rub our hands together, and we want to make what's called a chi ball. Now, I'm going through this really, really fast with you. So you're going to want to watch this later, slow it down, and do it again. And it starts at 47 minutes of our talk. So you're going to want to go like this. And you can all see me do this, right? So you want to cup your hands and allow whatever is inside the hand to push your hands apart. And you will start to feel, and actually, Gemini, if you want to do this with me, I'd love to have you on screen with me. That's great. Okay, good. And then I'd love you to say, how you're feeling with this. You're pushing your hands just like a quiet pulse. Do you notice a pushback in your hands?
Yeah, absolutely. And a warmth.
Right. Right. Temperature change. Perfect. So now that you feel that, what you want to do is hover your hands over your piece of paper, like about a half an inch to an inch above. And while you do that, you're going to start to feel the relationship between your hands and the paper. Because what you've just done now is you've transferred what we know to be life force energy. And the intention is in doing so, the paper represents the potential of the universe now. The potential of the universe. So you just do that. Do you feel that, Gemini?
I do.
Okay. So once you've done that, you can go like this with your hands. You can shake your hands out. And if you look at your paper, it's not going to look the same way as it started. So you might, and it's subtle. I'm curious what you see, but people see all kinds of stuff, right? It's on the paper, right? You notice it?
Yeah, it's kind of even changed colors on me.
Right? Isn't that weird? I know, it's so weird. Anyhow, next step is, we're doing this quick. You're going to draw now American dime. So the size of an American dime, circle in the center of the paper, okay? Circle of the center of the paper. So it's going to look like this. And then you're going to stare at the circle and allow your eyes to be soft focused. And you're going to tell me what you see, Gemini.
No, I'm still working because it was a small dime.
Oh, yeah.
The soft focus is coming next.
Yeah. Just let your eyes be very relaxed. I can't see the chat that you can see, so, but you should start to see some form of a halo, and it may move across your page. It'll do some pretty weird things that you aren't expecting.
Yeah, so the halo happened, and amazingly, there was a huge halo around the moon here last night.
Oh, so it kind of looks like that.
It was the first time you got to see like the big one. And yeah, the main thing that I'm experiencing is the one became two.
Yes.
And they're like orbiting one another in really interesting
weird? I mean,
ways.
isn't that
and
amazing?
I can't tell which one's like, you know, the thing and which one's the imposter or whatever.
This is the fun part. But what you're doing is the brain is now, again, we're going to go to the neuroscience part. The brain is actively going, oh, that wasn't there before. Oh, I'm noticing this now. Oh, the paper looked different. Oh, I felt that. So it can't deny what you just physically had an experience with your hands, with the paper. You saw something different. Now you see this. So what's it doing? It's saying, oh, I don't actually see everything that's going on in the universe. That's what you're clocking. Oh, that's so interesting. That means that what I'm calling in could be invisible right now, but it doesn't mean it's not there, right? Okay. So now what we want to do is we want to take some wavy lines. I'm just going to ask you guys to just do 4 wavy lines. I'm going to show you what they look like. And what they represent is what you're broadcasting to the universe, right? So there's your dot is your intention. And what your intention is to feel wonder and gratitude. That's the intention. Wonder and gratitude. So we've sent these lines out. Now they're not straight lines ever. They're wavy lines and they don't repeat. And then you bring another line sort of, close to the other ones. I'll show you what it looks like, because the universe is going to answer you, and it always does. It reflects back to you what you broadcast. Right? That's a picture of your intention broadcasting to the universe and the universe sending it back to you. So that's fine, but we want to have something we don't have, and we want to step into something that is invisible at this moment. So we want to create a doorway. So I'm going to draw a door. And I'm going to show you what this looks like. And this door is actually a portal. So when you draw a rectangular door around this, where are you? Are you on this side of the door? Because if you are, we're going to step through that towards the dot. Because the dot and frequency lines are on the other side of that portal. So on this side, we have the limitations of our identity, thoughts, feelings, beliefs, conditioning, all the things that Gemini and I talked about. But we want to step into something curious. We want to go, okay, I'm stepping through this portal, and this is where I want to be in pure potential. Doesn't that feel cool when you actually the perspective of, I'm going to step through that door? Like, which side of the door am I on? Oh, I'm on this side, that side. Go ahead.
Well, what happens if we were on the other side of the door? If we were hanging out with the dot and the lines already?
That's all right. We've just now acknowledged that we have stepped from one dimension into another. Yeah, that's fine. But most people that I've worked with typically see, I'm on this side. Where is the limitation? Well, the limitation is on this side. So if I step through that, I'm in that right? So I want to go there, right? Okay. Now, how you anchor this is this feeling state that we talked about before. And we can just do this for 3 minutes. Okay. So, and I'll show you how we do it. We draw circles and we just say thank you. And we bring back that feeling, the wonder, the awe, the feeling. There we go. See? And you just go round and round the paper. So let's just do that for 3 minutes.
And the circles just happen like where you feel them.
Anywhere, wherever. Yeah, you just go freehand. And they can look like potatoes.
Hmm.
Just keep saying thank you. Bring in that feeling of wonder and say thank you. 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 Doesn't that feel good? And just go round and round. Thank you. It doesn't have to look good. You just go round and round and round. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And they overlap. The circles overlap too, just like this. Right? See this? They overlap. Thank you. Thank you. Little ones, big ones. There we go. Doesn't that feel good?
Yeah, Frosty the Snowman just showed up.
Thank you. Thank you. And you might start thinking of other, while you do this, this is just saying thank you. And you might have memories that come up of other things that you feel thankful for and that you're in wonder of. Like, wow, who knew? This is amazing. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Then you do this. Now we're only doing it for 3 minutes, but if you do this for a solid 15 minutes and you don't do anything else but this, and you can listen to some music that you like. I like to listen to Theta. Like the stuff with I Awake Technologies is my favorite. I'll just slap some headphones on and I just go round and round and I say thank you. And I don't think about thanking for anything in particular. It's just the feeling. I want more of that feeling. And then invariably, oh, there you go. There's my website.
I'm interrupting you quickly, Colette, with
Are we
another vision of you, only because at one of the places we're streaming to, there's an hour limit. I'd love to keep going if you can. But so I want to make sure for folks over there at Instagram before like you lose the stream, you can come over to my YouTube. So GeminiBrett.com/streams if you want to keep going with us. But before that closes in a few minutes, let's just make sure you can see ColetteBaron-Reid.com. And then if you click on shop, I mean, click everywhere, learn about the membership and the online courses, and you can pick a card. And there's wonderful, it's a lot of fun over here. But if you click shop, you'll see so many things, including the Oracle decks. And then in the upper right here, you'll see books.
There you
go. Many, many books, actually. But here's the Art of Manifesting. And you can order it right here at Colette's site. So I put that link in the chat. I'll put the link in the description of these videos as well. I'm sure, Colette, you'd rather them buy it from your site than wherever they find it, but maybe not.
It's actually part of a Hay House sale right now. So it's half price. So if you go to ColetteBaron-Reid.com/book, it'll go directly to the Art of Manifesting page. You get a free workshop. You get all this free stuff to support this. So you can learn about this. Yeah. And really cool different drawings and stuff and how you do it. So there's a lot of gifts and free pages. So you're welcome to buy it at the website or on Amazon, in which case, because I think there's also a Black Friday sale. But then you just put in your code and you get all this stuff.
All right, so ColetteBaron-Reid.com/book, and then you get to see higher levels of these mysteries and techniques. I'm sorry to have so rudely interrupted
that's
you, but I
great.
wanted to make sure we got to share that before you
I
share
don't
your
get to
drawing
go.
here.
So how are you feeling as you're drawing the circles?
I'm feeling really good. You know, there's some interesting just parts of myself I get to look at. Like I had to draw a triangle with a circle in it. And then I'm,
Oh,
you know, am I bad? I went off course. I'm outside of the lines. And
no,
then of course
because
I like put that in check. And so Colette
no,
would
no,
let me
no.
draw triangles.
You
There's
draw
another
whatever you
thing.
want.
This is the envelope of this is like the paper that I have around. My partner
Yeah.
Scorpiana wrote a beautiful card to me the other day, so the envelope was there, and so it says B on one side. But so it also has this other portal in it,
Oh, that's
um,
great.
and
If
yeah,
you
I'm
want
just
to draw a triangle, like I drew a triangle right here, for example, this is one of the vision boards that we're
wow,
showing
cool.
people, right? So I will draw all kinds of things, but you draw what you feel. There's no wrong way.
Mm,
Like, no, if you want to, if you know I'm drawing a triangle, you go right ahead. It is keep waving it and making it keep going round and round. And if you feel that, because it's about a feeling, not about your
mm,
perfection, it's not about making beautiful art. It's making a mark the way our ancient ancestors did on the cave walls before they went out for a hunt. They asked
mm,
for a
mm,
successful hunt. They said thank
mm,
you in advance. They say thank you. Rain dances are thanking the sky, right?
mm.
It's not begging. It's I am the sky. I am the dance. I am the rain, right? So it's that. So you draw
Yeah,
what you want. It's just circles are safe. Circles represent unity. Circles are mother. Circles are cells. The whole universe is based on spherical shapes, right? So,
mm,
but if a triangle is your, I always have a triangle in the center, which represents spirit. Because for me, I'm in a 12-step program, and a triangle is my sign, and I always remind myself where my first roots are for me. So that's what a triangle is for me. But it could mean something different for you.
yeah. My favorite feeling, and definitely like the feeling that was running most of the time was just like I just felt like a kid. I just felt free and young, and like when Frosty showed up, I got really excited about. I've been
Whee!
like singing Frosty the Snowman as I've been walking around the neighborhood with Maya lately, and so yeah, that just like really felt fun, and so that's like that place of wonder, right?
Yeah,
And
like a kid.
yeah, and I can get there often, but you know, time's stressful. We have a 1.5-year-old baby, and you know, and so I don't get there often enough. And it was really fun to just have
Yeah.
a 3-minute practice where I was in that space. It was wonderful.
And eventually, so the book will teach you about, going deeper into asking yourself for your motives as to why you want something. But the whole process is based in a playful, very like no rules, no rigidity, be in the flow. And it actually gets you into a flow state where then you think different things, you have different choices, your agency is restored. And the agency that when we were 5 years old was exactly the agency that we need to reclaim, which is like to explore and to be curious and to look with wonder at the world and see, wow, well, I wonder what's coming, right? And to expect it. And then, like you said earlier, but to let go. Kids are like, oh, now what? Oh, okay, right? They're in the moment, and that's what we have to remember how to become again. And this does it.
One thing you were just saying about circles, um, just there's a couple things that I was just inspired to go remember and look up. And one is from Plato, who said the definition of God is an infinite sphere whose center is everywhere and whose circumference is nowhere,
I love it.
which I love.
I do too.
And yeah, just because it feels relevant for some reason, I want to share this beautiful poem by Hafiz. Let me see if I can find it somewhere. And before, like while I'm looking,
Yeah. Was there a question that you want me to riff
yeah,
on?
well, these were the couple things. So one was this. Yeah, let me go to the question I had for you before we went into practice.
Yeah.
So A dear friend is a really powerful painter. His name's Eric Nez. Beautiful yogi.
And Eric is there?
What, here where I am right now, or in,
No,
I don't
on
know
the. Oh no,
where
I thought
Eric is in
did
this
Eric do a
moment,
question?
but Eric, like Eric does a lot of just spiritual painting. He paints a lot at like music festivals, conscious festivals. We've had so many wonderful moments. He's the one who introduced me to the spirit of tea. And I remember one sunset with Eric where it was just this beautiful sherbet sunset with all the colors. And he's like, yeah, see that? He's like that little orange one beneath the gray. He's like, here's what you do. And he tells you all the colors you combine. But why I'm remembering Eric right now is he would say, yeah, like I'm with a mantra, I'm with an intention when I'm painting. Yep. And because he grew up in Florida and like did airbrush t-shirts, right, with his dad for tourist money. So he paints these beautiful paintings with airbrush. But so here's to say, I'm here and I'm either like singing this mantra, or this is my intention. I'm manifesting this thing. I'm bringing the energy of the collective together through this art, whatever it is, And I asked him, I said, whoa, like if I'm meditating or something, or even if I'm chanting, there'll be those times where my mind goes on its journey and I kind of lose the course. And now I'm just somewhere else. Or we're reading a book, I'll read your book, Colette, and I'll be at the bottom of the page and say, oh, wait a second. The last thing I remember was that first paragraph. And now I got to retrograde back to that one, right? But yeah, the cool thing that Eric said was, the fascinating thing for me is like I found out nobody else sees it, but I can look at the painting and I can see like, oh, that's that place where I like lost track and went off and forgot to do with my intention. And so that kind of dovetails to that was the question before we started this practice, but one during it and after is there's two things. One, just in the process itself, and you already addressed this a bit, like if I feel like I lost my way, if I'm no longer in gratitude and wonder,
and you just bring yourself, you be curious about that. Oh, that's interesting. Right. I went off on a different tangent. I'll bring myself back. That happens to me all the time. It's like training a puppy. Sit, right? Sit. And your mind will wander and you'll think of things. And then you'll notice, oh, I'm not in the gratitude right now. Take a pause and they go, I'm going to remember, because you have a memory, right? So you have a marker to go back to. And everybody's mind wanders. It's very hard. You can't force your mind. But when you're drawing, you lose yourself in the drawing. That's it. You've already planted the seed, right? The more you do it, the easier you get. Like this painting behind me, which is a big version of this. This has 1,111 prayers in it.
Wow.
Right? That people sent in, whatever, every mark on that. It's got like 12 layers. It is a prayer that I say out loud. And I completely lost my track at one point. Like I was like, oh shit, where was I? Right. And it's like, you bring yourself back. You allow for that is the other thing. This is not a perfection thing. This is, oh, wow, I wandered. Okay, I'm going to come back. And sometimes you just have to keep doing it. And then,
And that's such a wonderful practice too, right? Because the puppy example, there's, one of my hangups is, oh, bad dog. Like I did it wrong. And that can just take you off course. But having an opportunity to be with that part in me, that kind of limiting voice, and just say, you know what, it's okay. Like we're just drawing circles, dude.
That's okay.
Even in 3 minutes, I got there 3 times. Interesting, like mostly when the triangle came in, I was like, oh, it's supposed to be a circle. But triangles are circles. And so this is kind of the bigger question. Sometimes because we feel guilty of a thing. There's a habit I've been trying to release. And I can go for 3 weeks without doing it. And then suddenly here I am again. And now because I drank one night, I'm drinking 5 nights in a row or whatever. And so sometimes I just feel like we come against this, but I'm not worthy of manifesting joy or happiness or ease because I'm a bad boy or I'm a bad girl. Or I keep doing the thing I say I'm not supposed to do or whatever. So I was wondering if you could speak to that.
This doesn't cure addiction, right? So if you're talking about, or if a person is referencing addiction, right, that's a separate conversation, right? And that's a perpetual, okay, so if you're talking about, oh my god, I said I wouldn't do it but I did it anyway, right? Or it's like the insanity of doing the same thing over and over again expecting a different result, and admitting that you're powerless over something, right? Say, wow, I'm really powerless over that, or I have to make peace with it, that it's okay, that maybe it's the rigidity. So you say, oh, I'm rigid with this. Maybe I should just be allowed to choose one day at a time whether I do something or I don't. And if I do it, I'm like, okay. So talk to that part of you that says bad boy. If it's a full-blown addiction, none of this you're manifesting out of a repetitive, perpetual sense of self-destruction, etc. If it's just like I had a few, oh shit, I did this for 5 nights. Wow, I was such a bad boy. I shouldn't have these great things. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like different layers that we have to discover ourselves, and to decide how we want to be with ourselves. I think, addiction is when you feel powerless over something and you've started it and you can't stop. That doesn't sound like what you were describing. What you're describing is like, oh, I did it anyway, and I just did it because I wanted to escape and it made me feel good. Oh, well, on the other side of it, you definitely don't want to punish yourself. Like, you go, okay, you know what? Today I'm making a different choice. And we're always worthy, that we were born worthy. All of us were born worthy. All of us are born good. Our behaviors, our addictions, things like that can throw us off track. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it is up to us. If we're saying like, you know what, I can't, this doesn't make me feel good. I'm in a moment right now where I can make a different choice. You want to come from a place of, I can try this. I can rehearse this. I can fake it till I make it. But I will say that I think when somebody is in an active addiction, that addiction has to be addressed, right? You know what I'm saying? It's very hard while you're in that to actually have any you'll have material success. Some people have it, whatever, but you won't feel those feelings that you're looking for. You won't have that gratitude, wonder, awe, because you're in a destructive phase. You know what I'm saying? So that, because you brought up drinking, that's my jam, right? Drinking and drugs, right? So it's like, what would you need to change in order to feel worthy? That would be a good question to ask. Who would I need to become to feel worthy of these things? Because you're just always worthy. The universe is always going to give you what you rehearse. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I love it's what you rehearse, or fake it till you make it. As a spiritual teacher I had a meeting with one time, and he asked me not to record it. And so I actually remember one thing from 3 hours of us being together, which is at the end, he said, Brad, you were really excited to meet me. I know that. And he says, man, you really feel like you're getting to know yourself and you're on this path. And I commend you for that. He said, the one thing I'd reflect back to you, though, is that, you were excited to me. I assume you look up to me a little bit. Like, you walked in here kind of like a puddle of invisible nothing. He's like, you could have been anyone you wanted to. You could have been James Bond if you wanted to be. I don't know you. So he's like, there's something really important in that it's, and like, fake it till you make it. It's an interesting thing that we often say, and there's truth to it, but I really appreciate your rehearse, or this just opportunity of seeing ourselves in the place that we know we're bringing ourselves to, right? Like, kind of accelerating the time between this and where we're going by just putting ourselves in that place, right? Like, if I want to be a musician on the stage, let me be in that space of visualizing it. Right. And I think even statements like that, right? Like, you need to see yourself making the 3-point shot before you shoot. You can get all in your head about it, but it's really nice. Like, for me, just in a few minutes, and I'm so excited to read your book and to make this a part of my life and my practice. Just in those 3 minutes, I kind of stepped away from all this stuff that typically challenges me to stay in the moment, like in the practice. So thank you so much, Colette. That, like, just in
You
a
are
few
so
minutes,
welcome. And
beautiful.
I think that all of us have those little goblin talks in there. You know, like I'll do that with chocolate. Like I may have been sober 40 years, but I have a thing with sugar. And I'm like, when I went to Portugal, I ate the entire country, and I was like, I can't stop this. Like I was like so freaked out. I'm like, I said I wouldn't do it today. I'm not going to have that today. Then I had it. Right? It was like this whole thing that and I was like, relax. You know what? You're not going to get anywhere. You're going to make yourself so worse. Let yourself make a choice. What if you could have anything you want in the world? I'm like, and that completely settled me, because after a while I was like, okay, I'm in an active food thing here. Like I'm escaping something. What's going on? Right. And it was like, don't punish yourself. If we punish ourselves, we never get anywhere. It's like we surrender. Wow. And my everything got clean, my food got clean right away, because I just said, okay, I give up. I'm fighting something. I have to admit that I'm trying to escape, that I want to go home early, and I went home early instead, and my food cleaned up, right? So I stopped eating like that. I was like, oh, just go home. We have different choices. I think that's the thing. What choice could we make to become the person that feels good about themselves? I feel good about myself.
I love it. I
And
feel
I
good
want
about
you
you
to.
too.
I feel good about you.
There's so many wonderful comments here, but I want to read this one that says, I always appreciate your shares so much. You remind us that we all have these same doubts. Thank you. Yeah, and it's okay. And I love that, I was stressed out, like, oh, you just want to go home. It's like, wait, go home. I was sharing with somebody yesterday. I was in a class once, and the name of the presentation was Escaping the Baleful Rays of Saturn. And I'm in it for a bit, and I was like, you know what? I just feel like this lady is like talking trash about one of my friends, because Saturn's, and I was like, wait a second, like I could leave. I'm
Right. I
hungry.
can
I was like, I could
leave.
actually just quietly and politely like leave
Yeah.
and go get some food, and that's okay, right? So there's something really important
Y-
about not giving our will away as
And
well,
you know
right?
what? The other thing is too that I love about you and your willingness to be human, because I think there's so much bullshit out there with this performative spirituality in our world, and the personal transformation thing, when nobody's telling the truth about the fact that we're all fucking human, and we suffer, and we bump up against ourselves, and it doesn't matter how long we've been doing it. We are human, and we need to remind ourselves that we are all in this together. Just because I have been at this for a long time doesn't mean that I don't bump up against my own character flaws and my little internal gremlins that says you can eat that. You know what I mean? And I still have to go to my meetings, because it's like I need to stay on track. I need to do the same practices that I tell. It's like, and I don't do it perfect, right?
Mm,
I don't do things perfectly, and we need to hear that. I love it that you teach like this, because we need to. Otherwise, everybody thinks that it's an impossible task.
mm,
It's not.
yeah,
And our minds will wander, and we will fuck up, and we will do stuff, and we got to be kind to ourselves and give compassion and go, wow, I am human. And that listen to other
mm,
people that tell the same story, that you don't feel alone.
yeah, and it's results in having authentic people around, which we should hope for that and work towards that by being ourselves.
Yeah.
All right. Well, a couple of
I have
things
to
in the
go.
chat.
Okay,
One one
tell me the
person
chat.
asked who said that thing about circles. So this is Plato. The definition of God is an infinite sphere whose center is everywhere and whose circumference is nowhere. And then one of you asked for me to read the poem that I mentioned, and
Okay.
so we'll close with that. So
Yes,
this
let's
is
close with that. And thank you all for
Hafiz.
hanging in there with us and being
Oh yeah,
authentic.
I think it's been
Yeah.
fun. So this is from Hafiz, and it's called Circles. It says, the moon is most happy when it is full, and the sun always looks like a perfectly minted gold coin, which was polished and placed in flight by God's playful kiss. And so many varieties of fruit hang plump and round. I see the beautiful curve of a pregnant belly shaped by a soul within, and the earth itself, and the planets and the spheres. I have gotten the hint. there is something about circles the beloved likes. Within the circle of a perfect one, there is an infinite community of light. So I love that this practice starts with circles. And I also love that Hafiz reminds us of the importance of community, because one thing about Colette Baron-Reid, of her amazing multitude of manifestation, and please, please, please go to ColetteBaron-Reid.com, find much more about this amazing woman and oracle. ColetteBaron-Reid.com/book at this time will get you to the half price and the free class and the things Colette mentioned before. So that's where I am heading. But you'll find more information about Colette's membership and many other things about her at her website. So please go there and learn more. And you can find me at GeminiBrett.com. I love, Colette, the importance of gratitude in this practice, because gratitude is the key word for a discount code that I'm running right now. So 12% off all readings through the solstice, through the new year. So if you head to the sessions link on my page, and once you type in all your stuff and do all your things, just type in gratitude here, and you'll see a 12% discount on whatever I do. And it would be a great honor to be able to tune into your song with you. So hopefully I'll get to see you when stars align. And Colette, I'm just so happy. It was our friend Lori Zielinski that brought us together. And she gets texts from me all the time, like, thank you so much, because Colette's meant so much to my own work and my own becoming. And it's so nice to receive this wisdom from you here today, Colette, and to learn about the art of manifesting in this book that you've brought forward. And I hope that bestseller dream comes through in 1,000 different ways that will completely keep you wise and help you stay in wonder and gratitude.
I'll tell you this. What it meant to me was that I would touch people with this work, and them inviting me to do their Healthy Times program is exactly what I asked for. I don't need the other piece. I got what I need, what I asked for, which was to touch more people. So it might be a group of whoever's going to show up from their staff, but it was very meaningful, because that was the core of that was use me as thou wilt. And this is the form I want, but they went, yeah, well, we're going to give you this form. We all have to remember what we get, we need to be grateful for.
Thank
you all.
Thank you for the reminder. I'm grateful for you. Thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you when stars align. Thanks everybody who's here live or in a time that we perceive as the future, for tuning in. Please leave comments. Please like the video. Please share it around. Please let people know. And I hope you'll grab a copy of this book and start practicing this art of manifesting. See you there.
Thanks everyone. Bye.